Switch Station 32 here for another video. I just got done watching Bethesda's E3 briefing, and it was pretty good. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything. It wasn't over the top. It was mostly stuff we already knew about. There's a few, two or three games that got announced that looked pretty good, but not mind-blowing. No, it wasn't that great, but it was okay. I pretty much started off with them thanking the fans and thanking their audience and stuff like that. And they had some fans that love Bethesda and Fallout and Skyrim and stuff throughout the whole show. And they came out and talked and told their stories and stuff like that. That was pretty neat. The way for them to say thank you to their audience. Todd Howard came out and they wasted no time. They came right out and started talking about Fallout 76. Talk about how they had, it was a good year for them. But then he made fun of Fallout 76 and it puts a little humor into it, and it was pretty good. They came right out and started talking about they're still going to support Fallout 76. They know it wasn't good when it first launched, but they want to make it better for people. At least they're still trying to make the game. They're not better. They're not just giving up on it like Anthem and EA. Like EA had their EA Plays E3 conference, and I watched that, and they didn't even speak about Anthem. They didn't even address it. They pretty much just give up on Anthem. At least Bethesda is coming right out and meeting Fallout 76 criticizers head on, and they're saying they're still with it, and they still want to make this game better. And for the people that bought it, they're going to put more DLCs out for it. They're going to put more storyline. They have Season 2 coming out, and Season 2 looked alright. They're going to have human NPCs. They're going to have a new main quest that looked pretty good, and they're going to have interactions with people and stories that you can go down through, and when you read them and you have an option of what you want to pick, good or bad, or you're going to live with your consequences like Fallout 4, like any Fallout game. I think that's really going to help Fallout 76. And there's going to be new weapons, new gear, stuff like that. And something that did look pretty interesting. They're going to have a Battle Royale mode for Fallout. And they showed it on fire and the map shrinking, and you got to get to a certain point, and they showed people building barricades and stuff like that. A lot of unique stuff going on with Fallout 76 with Battle Royale mode. And not only are the players trying to get into the circle in Battle Royale mode, but it also showed all their bad guys and monsters and everything also coming in. So not only are you going to have to fight the people in Battle Royale mode, but you're going to have to fight the monsters and death claws and everything of Fallout 76 in the circle as it gets smaller and smaller. And that adds a lot of dynamic to it. That could be really good. I think Battle Royale mode's going downhill a little bit. Not as many people are interested in it, but that's going to add quite a bit to the Battle Royale mode, where it's just not you and the people, where there's the monsters and everything you got to deal with. Some people might even team up to take these monsters down. So it's going to be a unique aspect of Fallout 76. And like I said earlier, at least Bethesda is coming right out and saying we are still going to support this game, and we are still going to try to make this game good for the people that bought it. Instead of just giving up on it and being like, we're going to scratch this like EA did with Anthem, they're still going to support it, so that's good. Then they came out and started talking about Blades, the Skyrim game that's mobile, and they started going on about the new free updates and all that stuff that's coming out, and it looked alright. It's not for me. I don't want to play Skyrim or anything on mobile, but... And then after they get done talking about all their updates and stuff, they said it's coming to Nintendo Switch this fall. So that was pretty cool for Switch owners. And they also said if you play it on your mobile phone and then you play it on Switch later on, your save progress will go to your Switch. So you won't lose anything. So that's good. And then they came out and announced a new IP, Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't know what to say about this game. This game looked a little... You don't really know what's going on in this game yet. It looks cool. The premises of it is people in Tokyo and friends and stuff are just randomly disappearing. And then you're going to end up fighting like demons and stuff like that. And over the course of the story, find out why they're disappearing and try to save them and stuff. And it looked good, but you got to see more of what it's going to be to judge that game, because it looks really cool in the story, but there was no real gameplay. It was just video. So in the end, we'll have to wait and see gameplay and see more about that game. But the base of it and what they did show made it look really interesting. Then they went into Elder Scrolls Online and showed the new down a dragon and killing the dragon, and a big video package for that, and that looked really cool. It made the new online for Elder Scrolls look pretty interesting. I haven't played the online for Elder Scrolls, but it does look pretty good, and I'm sure people that are online that are playing it are really excited for that, because them taking down that dragon and introducing some old characters back, I think a lot of fans are going to be really excited about that. Then they came out with another mobile game, Commander Keen, an old IP from the 80s and early 90s, and now they're remaking it into a cell phone game, and it just looked okay. It was like a little platformer game. You can play 2 versus 2 versus and stuff like that. It was a cartoon-based game with some humor, and it looked interesting for a cell phone game, for anybody that's interested in that. And they talked about Fallout Shelter. They said Fallout Shelter has 150 million user base now, and that's quite a bit for a mobile game, for a free Fallout Shelter game. I was pretty surprised to hear 150 million for that. So that game's still doing pretty good. I was hoping for an update, or maybe a Fallout Shelter 2. My girlfriend plays that. She enjoys it, so I was hoping for her that it would be maybe a little bit more packed into it, but they didn't say anything about that, so it was kind of disappointing. And they went into Rage 2, talked about new story for Rage 2, new DLC, new monsters to fight. You're going to get more weapons, and it looked okay, but it wasn't nothing special. And one game I did see that looked pretty interesting, we already knew about it though, was Wolfenstein Cyberpilot, a new VR game where you're killing Nazis in VR, and that game looks pretty interesting. You're in like a robot walking around shooting your guns and stuff, and I'm sure anything like that in VR is probably pretty cool. Then they went into Wolfenstein Youngbloods. That looks really cool, but again, it was a game we already knew about. They talked about some more story aspect, and they talked about it's going to be 2-player co-op online. And that looked pretty cool. They did show split screen, but they never came right out and said that it's going to be coach co-op, but they showed it split a few times, and I'm really hoping that there's going to be a 2-player split screen co-op, because we haven't had a good split screen first-person shooter in a while, and I'm really hoping that is split screen, because me and my fiance would really enjoy playing that if it's a split screen, something 2-player, because there's not that many good 2-player games anymore. Another new IP that they announced was Deathloop. Deathloop looked really cool. It was interesting. It showed you in this unique world, you have the good guy and the bad guy, and they tell the story of how the good guy needs to end this so they can open the world back up, but they also tell the story of the bad guy and how he has to stop the good guy so that don't happen. And they tell the story through both perspectives, which looks pretty cool, and you can also choose what perspective you want to be, good or bad, stop it or try to defeat it. And the premises of that looked really cool. It looked like it had a little bit of humor, but it also was serious, and that game looks like it could be really good. We'll have to wait and see more of it. Then they came out and talked about their new engine for online, Orin, and they talked about how that's going to make the speed of streaming games for people that don't have as fast internet better. It's to be 20% better with bandwidth and stuff like that, and it's supposed to be work better with slower internet, and they saying it's going to work good with slower internet. I have slower internet here. I can't do streaming, so we'll see how it works. I have no faith in that actually working with people that don't have high-speed internet, that don't have like really good internet, but they came out and tried to sell that hard, their new engine, and talked about how that's all gonna work, and people, they came out with a roaring applause. If you're not living in a big city and you live in a rural area, streaming is not gonna work. It won't work for me, and it's not gonna work for a lot of other people. You're going to cut off half your market if you get rid of consoles right at this moment and just go streaming. And I don't think that that's the future at this moment, because I don't think the infrastructure is there to do it. I know where we are, we could not just go strictly streaming. It just wouldn't happen. And then they ended it with Doom Eternal. They came out and showed some Doom Eternal, and Doom Eternal looked pretty good. It wasn't over the top, like a good way to finish it, because we already knew about Doom Eternal. We've seen a lot of gameplay. There was some gameplay they showed there that I didn't see where he like stomps on their head, but it is going to be unique. I'm definitely picking Doom Eternal up. I'm excited for it, but it didn't like blow the roof off Bethesda like as far as their briefing. It wasn't like a monster briefing, like a monster moment where everybody's like super pumped. The people in the audience were, but most of the games that we've seen at this were games we already seen, already knew about, like Doom Eternal, and that was the big go-home game. They showed him getting in a pod and going to Mars, and they talked about how you're going to be able to fight in more places than you ever have before. You're going to be able to fight from heaven to hell. It looks pretty cool. We don't have to wait and play it. I'm sure Doom Eternal is going to be really good. 2016 Doom was really freaking good, and this is going to be a really good game too. It just didn't blow the roof off the briefing because we already knew about it, and we've known about it for a long time. We've seen a lot about it already. And they also showed a collector's edition for Doom Eternal that looked really cool. I'm sure it's expensive in Canada, where you can get like the Doomslayer helmet and the game and a few other things, and it looked pretty cool. They didn't have a price, but it looked pretty interesting. I'm sure it's probably at least about $350 Canadian. Is most of the collector's edition are about $250 US, so it's about $350 Canadian. Too much for me, but I'm sure a lot of people that really love them collector's editions are really excited for that, because that collector's edition looked really cool. That's how they ended it. They came out and talked about thanking the fans, and then they showed some more fan stuff and just went over the briefing, and that was pretty much the end of it. That was our Bethesda E3 briefing video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Today we got Ubisoft. Later on is going to be Ubisoft and Square Enix. I'm excited for them ones. I'm going to try to have videos of both of those up too. And I hope you guys liked the video. And if you could leave a like and a subscribe, really help the channel grow. And